Now we're going to discuss what you need to know about your wedding photographer. I'm here with Ken from Kenneth Robert Images. And Ken, tell me what you do exactly.
You know, I'm a wedding photojournalist. I like to get in on the wedding day and really capture what's going on. I'll do some directed shots, but I really want to capture the essence of the day. I want to capture those special moments as they happen, and really the emotion. I love capturing the emotion, you know, when a father and daughter are dancing and there's the tears, and those are those pictures that you cherish. So I like to go in there and kind of as a ninja and just get behind the scenes and really grab things that are going on.
When a bride and groom come to you, what are they looking for? Do they want from start to finish, or what do they ask you?
Every couple has a different need. Some couples just want, you know, 6 hours. Some people want the full day. I really do customize for each couple to suit their needs. So if they say, you know, hey, we really would like you to be there the full day, I build a package that works for them as far as the coverage that they need. Generally, we start with how many hours of coverage are you looking for? Do you want to start at bride prep? Do you want to start when you and the girls are getting the hair done and the makeup? And most brides these days want those pictures. And so we'll talk about hours of coverage. And then as far as the back end, we talk about what they want as far as products on the back end. And do you want a coffee table book, or do you want an album, a formal album?
What kind of trends are you seeing? What's new in the business in the past year, let's say, in the photography business? What are you seeing that people want?
Okay, as far as trends in the wedding industry, one of the things I'm seeing as a photographer is a lot more boudoir sessions. A lot of brides want to give their husbands a special book. I've been getting a lot of calls for boudoirs, and you know, brides are these days very, very proud. They work hard. They want to look great on their wedding day, and so they're working out. And you know, I get one bride who will call me every week. I've lost 2 pounds, or I've hit this goal at the gym, because she's preparing for her boudoir shoot, and she wants to look as best as she can, but she wants to do that for him. And that's a huge thing I've been seeing. I would say the last year, I have been seeing an increase in that. Probably every other bride has been saying, hey, I'd like to do this for my husband.
How do photographers handle destination weddings when approached with it?
You know, destination weddings are an interesting animal. A lot of people think that they're just the most glamorous things in the world. Oh my gosh, you get to travel to all these places to take pictures. And while it's great and you do get to see different places, destination weddings are tricky. Number one, most of the time the couple is spending a majority of their budget on the photographer, and the rest of the wedding is pretty low budget. Destination weddings can be a lot less expensive than local weddings, and that's a way for brides and grooms to limit the amount of guests, the number of people, and keep the costs down. It can be tricky. International travel, you have to make sure that your photographer is passported and ready to go. I travel internationally. And it really just takes a certain person. You have to just be very committed to what you do. You're not there to party and drink. You certainly are there to do a job.
Now, on their wedding day, what should they expect from their photographer?
You know, for me, I can't speak for every photographer, but for me, I'm a huge believer in keeping everyone loose, relaxed. I want to keep them laughing, having a good time, never uptight. You know, if you get real rigid with people, and if you get real bossy, the wedding party gets real stiff, and the next thing you know, you have really uncomfortable pictures.
How does one photographer differ from another?
Personality is probably the biggest thing. I'm a goof, I'm a clown, I joke with people, I want to keep it light. And there are some photographers who are so formal and so, you know, just this is the way they do it, and they go by a playbook. I joke, I've seen a lot of photographers who have, I call it a playlist. And it's I'm going to take this picture at this time, this picture at this time, and they work off of that list. And that's fine if that's the photographer that you choose to hire, that's fine. I'm much looser than that. There's a certain amount of structure to a wedding, but at the end of the day, there also needs to be some unstructured time, and where people can just be themselves and relax. If it's all structured and calculated from start to finish, it's very mechanical, very mechanical. So you want to find a photographer that fits your style, fits your personality. Someone that when you talk with them, you really click. I think budgets drive a lot of brides. If you're a budget-conscious bride, you're gonna look for those photographers that are under $1,000, that are gonna give you everything. But those photographers aren't making a living, and you really need to make sure that they're gonna be around on your wedding day.
What are the main questions and main points that a bride should be asking you for her big day?
Okay, number one, style. You want to make sure that that photographer's style fits your style, that you see in that portfolio, whether it's online or in their studio, pictures that resemble what your vision is. If you don't see that, go to the next photographer. Number two, personality. Your personality has to mesh. If you and your photographer don't click, most of the time I go out for a cocktail hour, a happy hour with my brides and grooms, and that will be our first meeting. If we don't click at that first meeting, we're not gonna work together. A big question which is really overlooked, and couples really need to dive into this a little bit, is equipment. Equipment doesn't matter to most couples, and it shouldn't matter, except that you need to make sure your photographer is using professional equipment, has backup equipment. You want to make sure that they're not just picking up a camera at a store and going, okay, I'm here and I'm your photographer. You want to make sure that they have really reliable professional gear. There's so many consumer models now that are semi-pro that you can do a really good job with. But if you have a failure at a wedding and that's the only camera you have, where are your pictures going to come from? I always travel with extra cameras. I always have at least 2 bodies at a wedding, 2 camera bodies, and multiple lenses. Things happen. Cameras break. They're machines. And so you want to make sure your photographer has backup gear. The other thing that I do is I do have brides, and I ask all of my brides, hey, can I keep your number so that if a future bride wants to find out about your experience with me, can I give out your number? I have not had a bride say no to that yet. And they're very gracious about it. So you want to know if, hey, does this photographer have happy clients? Another thing is you want a contract. It's inconceivable that a photographer in this day and age would do business without a contract, and you should expect a contract from your photographer. And that contract should spell out everything that they're getting, and at the end of the day, they've got a binding contract that protects them. I've got a binding contract that protects me.
What is the turnaround time for a bride coming to a photographer and then after her wedding getting the pictures? How long is that process?
You know, that's a great question, and it's one that I have found varies so greatly from photographer to photographer. Industry-wide, it seems that 3 months to 4 months is an acceptable length of time before the couple sees their pictures. I don't want to be working with a wedding's pictures 3 months after the wedding. Not that I don't love my couples, but I want them to get their pictures back. So industry standard, 3 months, 4 months for picture delivery, sometimes a year for albums, which again, that's not the way I work. I don't criticize that. It's just, I can't work that way. For me, album pre-design about a week after the wedding. Pictures are online and visible for my clients within 7 to 10 days after the wedding. And usually the sign-off on the album is within a week or 2 after that. And I try to have the album delivered to them and done within about 8 weeks, 10 weeks tops after the wedding.
How much time do a bride and groom need to give you in advance so that you can get them booked for their day?
Some brides will book as far as 18 months in advance, and it's first come, first serve. As soon as they sign a contract with me and get their deposit in, their date is booked. And I only book 1 wedding per date. And if I travel, I don't book anything within a few days of that wedding because I allow time for travel.
So if I came to you right now and I said I needed you to be at my wedding in a month, it's not likely to happen? Unless
it's a rarity and it's a date that I have open and I've got nothing going on, chances are very slim. I'm booked usually 9 to 12 months in advance.
Ken, thank you so much again
for
your time. Great information.
Thanks.
Again, it's Ken from Kenneth Robert Images.